Hey, welcome. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about ideas out there, manifestation and the secret. We're going to pull it apart, see what it says, figure out what it totally misses, and most importantly, show you how to actually use these principles to make some real changes in your life.
So let's just start with a huge question right off the bat. What if your life, your job, your relationships, your health, all of it, isn't just a series of random events? What if it's actually a direct reflection, like a mirror, of what's going on inside your head? It's a massive idea, so let's break it down.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the promise that pretty much took the world by storm. It's super simple, it sounds amazing, and honestly, it's what most of us think about when we hear the word manifestation. At the very heart of this is the famous law of attraction. The main idea is just like attracts like. So, the theory goes that your thoughts are sending out these little invisible signals, these vibrations, out into the universe, and those vibrations pull in experiences that match them. So, the popular chain of events looks something like this. Your thoughts create your emotions, which then send out these vibrations, which then attracts similar stuff back to you. You think I'm wealthy? You feel wealthy? And boom, you attract wealth. I mean, it sounds incredible, but maybe a little too simple, right? And that right there leads us to the most obvious problem. If all it took was thinking happy, successful thoughts, why isn't every single person on the planet already living their absolute dream life? This is the exact point where the popular idea just kind of falls flat, and it's where the real work actually begins. Which brings us to the missing piece. This is probably the single biggest reason why this whole concept fails for so many people. There is a huge, crucial part of the puzzle that almost always gets left out of the conversation. So, let's just get this out of the way. Here is the absolute truth. Thinking alone is not enough. Just sitting on your couch and wishing for $1 million, no matter how hard you wish for it, is not going to magically make it appear. And we have to accept that before we can get to the good stuff.
I mean, let's be real for a second. If just thinking about something really hard made it happen, every single person with anxiety would be a billionaire, right? We all know that's not how it works. So what's really going on here?
Okay, this is where things get really fascinating, because we're going to bring in some actual brain science. It turns out this whole manifestation thing has way less to do with cosmic magic and a lot more to do with these incredible hidden systems that are running inside your own brain. I want you to meet your brain's personal bouncer. It's called the reticular activating system, or just the RAS for short. Think of this little network of neurons as a filter for all of reality. It's constantly scanning everything around you and deciding what tiny little piece of information is important enough to show you. You've definitely experienced this. Let's say you decide you want to buy a specific model of a red car. All of a sudden, you see that exact red car everywhere, on the highway and parking lots, on TV. So, did a bunch of new red cars just magically appear? Of course not. You just told your RAS, hey, this is important now, so it started filtering your reality and pointing them out to you.
Now, the second piece of this scientific puzzle is something called neuroplasticity. This is just a fancy word for the brain's amazing ability to physically change and rewire itself based on what you think and do over and over. It means you are, quite literally, the architect of your own brain.
And this is how it all connects. If you consistently, day after day, think, I'm not good enough, your brain builds and strengthens the neural pathways for that thought. It literally builds you an identity of failure. And then your RAS, your brain's filter, goes out and actively looks for evidence to prove that you're right. But thankfully, the exact opposite is also true. And this, right here, is the real secret. It was never about magically pulling things out of thin air. It's about intentionally programming your internal world, your brain's wiring, your focus, your core identity, so that you become the type of person for whom these results are just a natural, inevitable outcome. So how do we actually do that? How do we take this amazing insight and turn it into something practical, a daily formula for real, lasting change? All right, let's lay out the steps. Here it is, the 5-step formula. First, you need crystal clarity on your identity, who you need to become. Second, you have to align your thoughts with genuine emotion. You have to feel it.
Third is repetition, doing it over and over to literally rewire your brain. Fourth, and this is crucial, is aligned action. You have to do things in the real world. And finally, number 5 is detachment and trust.
Everything, and I mean everything, hinges on this first step. You have to shift your question from, what do I want to get, to the far more powerful, game-changing question, who do I need to become? Do you need to be more disciplined, more courageous, more knowledgeable? That is where you start.
You see, this whole formula is built to help you avoid the classic mistakes. This is why people fail. They visualize, but never take that aligned action. They repeat affirmations, but there's no real emotion or belief behind them. They don't use repetition long enough to actually build that new identity. They expect it all to happen overnight. This is a process, not a magic trick.
Now that last step, detachment, that's the one that trips a lot of people up. But this surfing metaphor explains it perfectly. Think about it. You can't control the ocean, right? You can't force a perfect wave to appear. What you can do is practice, build your skill, and be ready. So when that right wave comes along, you're prepared to align yourself with its energy and ride it. That's trust. That's detachment.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together for the ultimate shift in perspective. Honestly, if you only remember one single thing from our time together, make it this. The popular idea, the old idea, is that you attract what you want. But the profound realization, the truth, is that you don't. You attract what you are. You attract experiences that are a perfect match for your deeply programmed identity, your core beliefs, and the actions you consistently take. So stop chasing butterflies. Instead, build a beautiful garden and the butterflies will come to you. Stop chasing success and focus all of your energy on becoming the kind of person for whom success is just a natural byproduct of who you've decided to be. And so, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one final question. It's not about what the universe is going to give you, it's about what you are going to build inside yourself. So the only real question left to ask is, who will you decide to become?